What's up? Corey Lennox here for Piano with Corey. So as a piano teacher, I get asked a lot of questions. And usually they're prefaced with, oh, this is probably a stupid question, but XYZ. And I hate that attitude because if you don't understand something, it's literally my job to help you with that. But that said, there is one question that I'm really not a fan of. Typically it's asked by parents or people who haven't started taking lessons yet, and the question is, how long does it take to learn piano? If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit subscribe for more awesome piano videos like this. Well, Corey, why don't you like that question? Surely you want to know how long it's going to take before you get into something. But there's two big reasons I don't like the question. The first is that it's too vague. So imagine if you ask somebody, hey, how long does it take to make money? There's absolutely no way to answer that. Do you mean making a quick buck? Because if so, you could probably do that in the next 10 minutes. Do you mean starting a business that brings you in income every single year? Because that could take the rest of your life and it might not ever happen. So there's a whole spectrum, right? Well, piano's the same way. If you just want to learn how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb, that's like one lesson. If you want to learn how to play top 40, pop and stuff, that's, maybe a few weeks or a few months. But if you want to play like flashy classical pieces at the level of a concert pianist, that could take the rest of your life, or at least a good 5 to 10 years. But because parents and students want an easy ballpark answer when they ask that, I typically say you're going to want to sink in at least 2 to 3 years. Because the first year is really just getting up on your feet, it's learning a lot of new concepts, and you're not going to really feel like you're starting to gain momentum until that second or third year. Now, can you move faster than that? Absolutely. It's all contingent on the level of effort that you put in. So for example, my student Jeremy, who's appeared on this channel before, he was only with me for about 2 years before he was one of the top players at the music school. And at the spring recital, he did this Star Wars medley that just blew everybody's minds. So it is possible, but at the same time, he only got there, it wasn't because of natural talent, it's because he was patient and he put in the work. So those are two elements you're going to need if you want to get good at piano. You have to have the patience to know this isn't a sprint, it is a long haul. And you also have the dedication to put in that time to actually practice. Both of those things, patience and practice, are crucial. And this brings me to the second reason that I don't like the question, how long does it take to learn piano? The fact you're even asking that shows that you're viewing it as more of a chore or something that you just want to get it over with. And neither of these mindsets are good to have for something that requires years of dedication, lots of patience, and lots of practice. So those people with impatient attitudes who come in and they're like, I want to be good right now. How long is it going to take? Month, 2, maybe a year? Okay, when can I be good? Those people burn out the fastest because they're focused on where they want to go. They're focused on this end result of being this amazing pianist. But, like I said, for the first year, you're not going to be good, maybe even the first 2 years. So what do you think is going to happen to those people who aren't willing to really put in the work and just viewing it as a chore? What do you think is going to happen to them a year in when they're still not really fantastic at piano yet? They're probably going to quit, right? Because they're not enjoying the journey. They're not enjoying the learning process or the small victories along the way. So I just want to rid you of that mindset right now. If you want to be a pianist, you want to focus on the long term. Now, as hard as that may have been to hear, this is the upside. In my opinion, it is impossible to lose at piano. Impossible. And here's why I say that. If you're putting time into the instrument, if you're practicing, you are going to get better. Now, of course, you want to make sure you're practicing the right way. You want to work with a teacher so you're not doing anything egregiously wrong. But short of that, if you're putting in that time, you are improving. The only way to lose at piano is to stop playing. And I see so many excuses from people like, oh, my hands are too small, or I'm not talented, I'm just not gifted. But then you watch them play, and they're just where every other beginner started out. Maybe they're even pretty good for a beginner. The problem isn't any of those excuses, it's not wanting to be a beginner. That's the heart of the matter. That's what's underneath all the excuses and all the self-protection, is not wanting to feel bad at something. Especially when there's other people out there crushing it, and you say, well, why can't I do that? Those people, though, started where you're starting. So yeah, some people maybe can play some chords or they have a pretty fast right hand. Some people have certain advantages, but for the most part, almost everyone I've ever taught has started off completely average. And I started off the same way. I started doing single note songs, and those were pretty hard for me at the time. But I just kept going because I enjoyed playing. That's what's going to make all the difference, is your mindset. Here's another really interesting way to look at it. At what point do you fail at playing piano? So many people say I can't play piano, but even 5-year-olds can play Mary Had a Little Lamb, and I've never met anyone who can't play that piece. And then you know what, if you can play that, maybe you can play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Maybe after a few nursery rhymes you can play an easy pop song. Maybe you start learning some chords, and then you just keep improving, you keep leveling up. So at what point during this incremental journey did you fail? I really don't get that. See, people aren't viewing it as a journey, they're not viewing it as learning to walk. They're viewing it as a moment in time, i.e. right now, where they can't do something. And as a piano teacher, I've never seen anybody ever fail at playing piano. I've never seen it. I've worked with all kinds of people, like this one teen who'd had a brain inflammation that almost killed him, and he came into lessons and his hands were trembling because his brain, his motor senses weren't right yet. I've worked with people who have learning disabilities, I've worked with people who have autism, I've worked with little kids whose hands are really, really tiny. So yes, anybody can learn piano. It is only a matter of you being patient enough and putting in the time to get there. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, drop a comment below, let me know what you thought, and until next time, keep it locked in here on Piano with Corey. Piano on!